Greetings, everyone. Thank you for tuning in to MCKL Open Day 2020 to find out more about our programs at MCKL. Hope everyone is keeping safe and healthy. Samantha here and I will be your host for today's talk, where we will be covering information on various topics throughout the day. Joining me is Mr. Joshua Johnson, who is the head of the University Placement Unit at MCKL, and he will be speaking on MCKL students' journey to universities all over the world. Should you have any questions, please feel free to drop your questions in the question box below, and we will go through the questions after Mr. Joshua has shared his details with you. Joshua?
Thank you very much, Samantha, and hi everyone. Thank you for joining us today at MCKL at our E-Open Day. And as Samantha mentioned earlier, I'm going to be sharing a few different things based on the topic and based on some of the things and experiences that I have been through while I was in MCKL. So I'll be telling you a bit more of that. And if you do have questions, feel free to ask us questions. Type out your questions at the chat box, and we'll be happy to take your questions at the end of the talk. Or alternatively, we have our MCKL E-Open Day today. It goes on until 5 o'clock. And we also have our MCKL Open Day next week from 9 to 5. So you still have a chance to either drop by virtually to meet some of us, or you want to drop by physically also, you can drop by to meet and talk to some of the staff here and to see our college and what it has to offer you also. All right, so let me just get down to my talk, and let me just share my screen first here. All right, I hope you can see my screen. So this is, I guess some of you may have seen this before. This is our beloved college, our beautiful college, and this is what it kind of looked like a few months back, but currently because of construction, there's a building, not ours, coming up behind, and it kind of like takes away this beautiful view, but this is what you get to see while if you are in MCKL. So as mentioned earlier, and I guess you would have also seen online, that's the reason you are here, I'm going to talk a bit about MCKL students' journey to universities all over the world. So what I'm going to take you through is, I cannot show you photos of some people. I cannot give you names of some people. It's because they are all protected. There is the Malaysian Data Protection Act. I'm just going to give you a bit of details of courses and universities and countries to tell you where they have gone. But if you do have questions later, and if you do join MCKL eventually, then we'll be able to connect you and show you more detailed information also. I hope that's okay with you. And as Samantha mentioned, and as you can see on the screen, my name is Joshua Johnson. I'm the head of the University Placement and Alumni Unit here in MCKL. So I've been here for more than 8 years, starting off as a University Placement Officer. So I've seen students go to many different parts of the world since I joined in 2012. So some of this information is data we have collected, but some of this information is actually based on just conversations I've had with students in the past 8 years. So they are able to tell me details, they are able to tell me a bit more of their experiences, they are able to show us where they have gone to also. So that's how I am able to gather some of this information. All right. Where does MCKL students typically go to? Sorry, I should also mention this. As the head of the University and Placement, the University Placement Alumni Unit, we actually cover, or we help students in pre-university to go on to university. Of course, they are here to do pre-university courses, and then they go on to university. So whatever I'm going to tell you is actually purely based on students who did the A-levels programs with us, or they did the OSMED program with us. So it's either A-levels or OSMED students, and these are the two groups of students who actually we deal with directly in our unit. We also do offer the American Degree Transfer Program, where students actually basically transfer to America. So that is totally something else, but if you do need more information about that, you can always contact us. Or I think there's also a talk with regards to ADTP, the American Transfer Program, but no worries about it, just to let you know. Or the next one is on American, the Degree Transfer Program, but just let you know that the information I'm showing you is very focused on A-levels and OSMED students, all right? So where do you think these students actually go to? So if you can see this map, this is somewhat a picture of the world. It's a world map. And if you zoom in properly and you look at, there is a darker blue there, and it shows, I've highlighted 5 or 6 places in the world that is quite popular with our students. So this first one, if you see, though it's quite a tiny little country compared to many other places in the world, we do have a number of students going there. And if you haven't guessed it yet, it is the United Kingdom. So United Kingdom is very popular with our students. And then if you look at this, come down, way down south to the southern hemisphere, nearer to Malaysia, we have Australia, we have New Zealand, which is also a popular option with our students. We have East Asia. So if you notice, I didn't highlight the whole of Asia because East Asia has grown as an international hub for education also in the world. And so we have students, we have universities in China, Taiwan, Hong Kong, Japan, Korea, and some of our students actually choose this as an option for them to go and study there. And then this is Americas. So I say Americas because it involves North America. It also involves Canada. So northern hemisphere, where there's students going to America, students going to Canada also. And let me see what is the next one I have here. Okay, this one is the other parts of Europe. So we have students actually going to Europe also to study. And I'll tell you a bit more of these details later. I missed out one country here, which I will also show you at the end. But these are the popular 5 options, but there's another country here that's very popular also of late, which I'll show you details later. And of course, we have students coming to Malaysia. I tried to find a bigger map or a clearer map, but this one seems to cover a good sense of Malaysia. And I will show you later some of the details of some of our students who have gone to different universities in Malaysia and focusing on the Malaysian public universities. So as you can see, like I mentioned earlier at the beginning, our students' journey actually varies. So they come from different backgrounds, they may have different plans and different ideas of where they want to go and study. And somehow they end up in different parts of the world also. So the few countries I showed you is actually the popular ones that our students go to, or some of the popular ones that students want to go to, but somehow not necessarily all of them end up there. But what I showed you later, what I showed you just now, and what I will be showing you later are students who actually went to universities in these countries also. So you'll be surprised if you didn't know yet that doing the A-level program, doing the Australian matriculation, the Western Australia certificate education that we offer to you can take you to almost anywhere in the world. I say almost anywhere, it's because there are many universities or countries in the world that our students have not chosen to go to yet. So I don't want to say it's 100% guarantee, but basically these 2 programs are worldwide recognized and universities in the world do know of its existence. And basically we will help you through the process if you're interested to apply, if you're interested to go to any parts of this world. And I will show you some of it of some of the students where they have gone to also. All right. So I did a comparison. 2020 data is still not completed yet because we have some students still in a dilemma in deciding. Some students have taken a break. So we haven't quite compiled yet the full data. But if you look at it in the past 3 years, these are the countries that our students have been choosing to go to or gone to. So number 1 still is the UK. The past 3 years, and if I go back to since 2012, I would still be able to compile data of students who the number 1 is still the UK. This would be mostly A-level students because I guess many people do A-levels because they have the UK in the mind to actually they have UK in mind because that's where they want to go and study. So they do A-levels and it's a natural progression to consider the UK as an option. Besides that, we have students going to Australia and New Zealand. Steady growth, but though a slight decline we saw this year. But like I said, the data is not complete, so I'm not too sure. But I would say it's still quite consistent in between the range of 25 to 30 students every year. Singapore is the country I missed out just now. I didn't show you the map of Singapore, but as you can see, it is showing a steady growth. We have students going to different universities in Singapore. You may think the number is small, but actually for us, it's quite a significant number because some of the universities in Singapore, well, I guess all the Singapore universities are very competitive. It's not easy to get in. And I will show you later, our students have actually got in this year. It's a significant number this year, where 23 of our students got into the four of the Singaporean universities. Hong Kong also is a popular option with our students in the range of between 15 to 20 every year. This year, there maybe have been a decline because of, we don't know. It may have been a decline because of the political situation in Hong Kong, but it also could be just because of COVID. Some people have decided to postpone their studies, and that's why the numbers are slightly lower, but it's still an option. And then you see US and Canada. There has been fluctuation between for the US and Canadian universities. Some years there are students wanting to go. some years students choose to do otherwise. To have 7 students this year actually is quite good because some people were worried because of the political situation in the US. Some people were very worried because of the pandemic that is happening, but we still have 7 students who have got offers. One of them ended up there, and the other 6 are actually doing things online, and they hope to fly in January to the US. But basically, they have enrolled themselves in these US universities. And for the 2020 year, I'll be able to show you a bit more details after this. For China, India, Germany, we don't have data for these 3 countries. So we do offer a German track where students can go to Germany to study. It's just our data is not complete, so that's why it's not available. I'm not saying we don't have. We do have some students who have gone to Germany this year, but it's just not reflected yet. So how do we collect this data? So I would say the data is not actually 100% accurate. Why I say not 100% accurate is because there are some students we can't track where they are. They don't get back to us once they leave. So this is based on what we have collected in the past years from students who have responded to us. And some of this data we also collect by going online. We check on the students' LinkedIn profiles, we check on the students' Facebook profiles, and sometimes the students actually mention it there. So that's how we are able to collect some of the data. So not accurate because it doesn't cover the full population of MCKL, but the numbers there reflect the exact number of students who have actually spoken to us or given us the information, and we know that they are actually there in universities in the world. Okay, so you may be wondering what are these universities they have gone to. So let me show you a bit of 2020, some of the data for 2020. Yeah. Okay, so in 2020, in spite of the pandemic, you will be surprised to see students like you saw in the data just now. Students have gone, some of them physically there, some of them doing it online. So these are just some of the top universities. Okay, if you look at it, it looks like, wow, so a bit too many letters or too many words there. And it doesn't seem to be in alphabetical order. It's just because I had the names of the students on the left column, but I had to remove their names. It was in alphabetical order to protect their privacy. So you can see for the UK, this is just some of the, if you saw the numbers earlier, it was 70 over. But I just pulled out some of the top universities in the UK that our students have gone to, from universities like UCL in London, the Warwick, Cardiff, LSE, Manchester, Imperial, St Andrews, Bristol. And we have students also, this year we had one student oh wow, I didn't mention, oh, he's there, okay. We had one student who had gone into the University of Cambridge, and then other universities also in the UK. So these are just some of the top ones that we pulled out, but 70 over students have gone to many universities scattered all over the UK. And you might wonder why I highlighted the one name there, or the one University of Warwick there in Economics and Industrial Organization, because this particular student, this girl, she received the Bank Negara scholarship, a full scholarship. In spite of the pandemic, Bank Negara has given her a scholarship, and she's on a full scholarship to study in the University of Warwick. So we are very proud of many of our students also, not just because they've gotten into the universities, but some of them also get some pretty good scholarships that they have worked hard for. So 2020, we had one Bank Negara scholar, and 2019 also we had another Bank Negara scholar. We're studying economics also coincidentally in the University of Warwick. Okay, I will mention a bit about scholarship later, or you may have a question about scholarship also. But just looking at these 2 slides, what I'll tell you is UK is popular, and we have students going to varied UK universities, though these are the top ones. Why I showed you the top ones is many of the students that come through our doors, they're always targeting the top universities. They target the top universities is because they also target scholarships. So some of the Malaysian companies and organizations, they give scholarships for students who go to the top universities only. Okay, but that doesn't mean that you cannot go to any other UK university. Most of our students actually go self-funded. So if you look at my list now also, only one is highlighted. The rest of them are actually self-funded students. So your family, you can afford to go and study in the UK. So we are here to help guide you to the university of your choice. So we have students going from the north, right up north in Scotland, to right down south, maybe in Southampton. We have students even going to the east in Exeter and the popular universities like Manchester, Bristol, are all there on our list. Over the years, we have many students heading to the UK. The next one, just to show a bit to the US. So this year to the US, we've had 7 students who applied, and 7 students. Sorry, I shouldn't say 7 students applied. We have a number of students who applied, but 7 students received offers and decided to go. We've had a couple of other students who actually got offers, but usually these students also apply to other countries or other universities. And some of them, because of the pandemic this year, they decided to stay back and study in Malaysia. So again, I highlighted one name there, the Wesleyan University. And some of you may have never heard of the Wesleyan University. And no, it's nothing to do with WMS, Wesley Methodist Schools. It's nothing to do with Methodist College. It's not a Methodist university in the US. It is a private university in the US, Wesleyan University. And they have these prestigious scholarships called the Freeman Asian Scholarship. So the Freeman Asian Scholarship is given to one individual in one country in, 8 to or 12 Asian countries. There's only one student per country that gets the scholarship. And we are very proud that we have one student this year who actually received the scholarship to study there. So, and we are extra proud also because in the past 8 years, 4 out of the 8 years, MCKL student has won this Freeman Asian Scholarship. We had one person who got it in 2013, one person got it in 2014, one person got it in 2016, and now this year, 2020, we have another person who actually got it. So 4 out of 8 is actually pretty good for us, and we are proud of the student. We are proud of the students who have put in the effort to actually go to apply, and they've actually got in. And the Freeman Asian Scholarship is also a well-known scholarship and covers a significant amount for the students' education in the US. So the other students have got in. As you can see, Purdue is a popular one. Michigan is a popular one. Not easy to get in, but we have students who have got in there. Southern California also. And Wabash College we had a very good student who tried for many different US unis, but because he couldn't get scholarships, he couldn't go. He even applied to other countries. But his Wabash College is a men's college for male students. And also they gave him significant financial aid and support. So that's why he ended up there in the college also. So US has many different universities and colleges, and we have students going over the years to different kinds of it also. Yeah, so I purposely wanted to leave it as a messy list for you to see that, wow, MCKL sends many students to Singapore also. So as I mentioned earlier, 23 may not look like a big number, but it's significant to us because these universities are very competitive. These universities in Singapore are very highly ranked in Asia, very highly ranked in the world also. So it's competitive, not easy to get in, and we have students getting in. And it's just this year we have 23 students. And as you know, my trend, I've already highlighted all these students, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 students have got scholarships. So 6 of the students there on the list actually received the ASEAN undergraduate scholarship to study different kinds of courses. And one of them actually received an OCBC Bank scholarship to study in Singapore also. So you look at the list, there is 4 universities on the list that our students have gone to this year: Nanyang Technological University, National University of Singapore, Singapore University of Tech and Design, and the Singapore Management University. There is actually one more university which I just found out recently that our student got in, which is not on the list, is we have a student who actually got into the Yale and US University. So Singapore has a Yale and US University, and we found out one of our students actually also received an offer, and she's actually studying there now. So actually the number is actually slightly higher. One more student higher. So Singapore is there, and it comes. The students also apply for scholarship, applied for financial aid, and Singapore gives a tuition grant to students who do not get a scholarship. So students have opted to go there. So just this is the number of students you can see, and the courses also. Well, if you notice, this year's most of the courses are very science-ish. Computer science is popular, materials engineering, but like students going and do social science, students going and doing accounting, business, all also is actually there. I forgot to mention to you also earlier in the UK list, if you look at the list of courses, it also varies from courses like linguistics to courses like medicine, PPE, finance, engineering, economics. It really varies across the board. So you do see different kinds of courses and different kinds of universities that students have opted to go for also. Okay, so that's MCKL students' journey. Actually, it's quite interesting because it's not just limited to certain countries, as I will show you in a while. but this is what we see as a trend. And if you are interested in these countries, it is possible for you to attend or go to these universities. Okay, so Hong Kong is also a popular option, though I told you this year it's slightly dropped. And also they give a variety of courses, and there's about 6 popular universities in Hong Kong that our students actually apply to. But this year on the list, you can see University of Hong Kong, Hong Kong Science and Tech University, Chinese University of Hong Kong, Baptist University, and Chinese University. These are the ones that students have gone to. Missing from the list this year is City University of Hong Kong and the Hong Kong Polytechnic University, where we do have students also going to these universities over the years. So you might wonder, like, oh, just now you showed me in Singapore, the students have got scholarships. In America, got scholarship. In the UK, got 1 scholarship. Wow, Hong Kong, why do they choose to go there when they don't have scholarship? Actually, this next slide. Ta-da! You see this? Ta-da! Every student who went to one of the Hong Kong universities, they actually received a scholarship. So Hong Kong is a very generous, Hong Kong has been very generous with their scholarships for different programs, and all the universities offer some kind of scholarship from 50%, 100%, 30%, tuition fee scholarship, full scholarship. It really varies, but all our students who go to Hong Kong, they so far have gone on some kind of scholarship this year at least. Not every year this happens, but this year at least. And Hong Kong also is a competitive country and universities, because they also are highly ranked. So to get a scholarship, you need to have very high grades. So it can vary for the ATA score for OSMED students, and for A-level students, the more stars you have, the more A stars you have, the higher chance for a higher scholarship. So that's where that's why I'll show you this also. And what I'm showing you is just for this year, yeah. And later I'll show you a bit more data of students who have gone over the years to different kinds of scholarships also. So this I just combined Australia and New Zealand just this year. We have students going, it is a popular option, Australia and New Zealand, who went early this year. And we foresee some students also going in 2021 February. The numbers are low, possibly is because we may have some students who usually go to Australia and New Zealand in July. But this year, because of the pandemic and the borders closed, so students may have opted to go only in February next year, hopefully if the borders open. And then there's one student actually he didn't get a full scholarship, but he's got something there to cover some of his studies. He went to the University of Western Australia in Perth to study engineering science. Okay, this year, Japan and Korea, not as many, but still we've had 2 applying to Japan. Actually, I had a number of students applying to Japan and Korea, but it's just also difficult to get in. And also some ask for scholarship. But the first name you see there, which is highlighted, the student actually got the max scholarship, which covers almost everything that she needs, he needs, was it the she or he, I can't remember now, to study in Japan. And we have 1 student in Waseda, and another student has gone to Hanyang University. Actually, we have a number of other students also who applied. This year, I also had 2 students, I think, who had an offer from KAIST University in Korea. KAIST is a very high-ranked Korean top university, but one of them, at least from the 2, received an offer from Singapore and received the ASEAN scholarship. And even though KAIST gave him a full scholarship, he opted to go to Singapore instead. The second one, I can't remember where he ended up going to, but you see, it is possible to get in. It is possible to get a scholarship. And some of the students of our students, they get multiple offers, multiple universities, and then sometimes they get a headache because they have to decide where to choose, where to go and how to choose. And sometimes they have so many options, at least they're able to choose from. But I have to tell you, if you are targeting scholarships, if you are targeting high-ranked universities, academics matter. To me, academics is not the most important thing in life. Academics is part and parcel of it. You have to study. But for scholarships to get into high-ranked universities, academics do matter. And so that's why in MCKL, also some of the students study really hard and they work really hard to achieve academic results so that they can get into universities, top universities in the world, so that they can get into, to get scholarships also from some of these universities. All right, so to Europe this year, we had 2 students who got into Ireland for science. She's going to do pharmacy actually. And the first name, the girl, she actually got a full tuition scholarship from the university. So her tuition is covered fully. So all she needs to do is for her parents to, parents only need to pay for her cost of living there. The second one, I think it's 20 or 30% scholarship, but still it covers a significant amount. And the second student actually got an offer to study medicine in UCD in Ireland. The third one is a German university. In case you get confused, DE is actually Germany, Deutschland, they call it. So it's in Germany. So we have 3 students this year to Germany, but like I said earlier, Germany, the data is not complete. So there may be more. And for Europe, so far this year, there's only 2 students who went to these 2 countries compared to the previous years, which I will show you data later on also where they've gone to. Okay, so I hope that you're able to already see that, hey, MCKL, wow, this college in Brickfields, who has existed for now 37 years, in the past 1 year only, they are sending students to places all over the world in the midst of the pandemic. So that's where we see our students, the potential in our students, and that's where we see our students actually going and willing to go. So of course, I say they gone because of the pandemic. They still they have got offers. So some of the names you see, some of the names you see on the list today, they may still be in Malaysia. Some of them, I don't know whether they're in Malaysia or they didn't tell us, but they did get the offer. They did start classes. So they are still as if they're studying. So for instance, in the UK, I know a few students who opted to go to the UK, even though they were given the option of studying in Malaysia. Same goes for Hong Kong. So some of them actually went to Hong Kong and UK to study. Some of them remained back in Malaysia to do online first. Whereas Singapore, they require the students to be physically present there. So all 23 students actually went to Singapore and they started their course in August this year. So some of the others, like the first girl who got pharmacy, the science one, she's actually still in Malaysia and she's doing her course online and hopes to fly off in early next year when things become better. So that's the nature of the world now also. Because of the pandemic and the borders, some students have to delay their going, but they have received offers, unconditional offers, and actually have already started their studies in those respective universities. This is something I have to show you and I want to show you. So if you are studying, there is a perception before this that if I want to go to a Malaysian public university, I should, A-levels and OSMED won't take me there. I can't go to a Malaysian public university. So actually that is a wrong perception now. And we have seen over the years, a significant rise in students getting into public universities. So when you say public universities, if you're a parent, some of you may actually you did go to a public university in your time, or if you're students listening in, your parents may have gone to Malaysian public university, places like UKM, USM, UTM, and so on and so forth. So prior to this, it was very hard to get in, but I've seen students since 2011, I think, the public universities have become more and more open to take students in. So at MCKL has seen students, our A-levels and OSMED students, getting into the Malaysian public universities. And if you have a look at it, you look at the list of courses that they do, it's actually a varied list of courses: pharmacy, law, medicine, chemistry, mechanical engineering, electrical engineering. And then you see in there's a student who's gone to do Italian language and linguistics. That's getting into medicine in UM. And you see Malaysia is the #1 medical school in Malaysia in terms of public universities. It is a very competitive university to get in. During my time, a lot of my friends in Form 6 will all be hoping to get into UM for medicine because it's hard to get in. And there's a number of the top students in Malaysia who score well in their STPM, their Form 6. Usually, most of the time, they target and they get into UM for medicine. So we have seen a number of students getting into Malaysian public universities. I can't remember whether this is a full list of mine, but I think for this year, this is a full list. And the highlight there is we have one student in UM. He was doing computer science. He's on the JPA scholarship. So not only did he get into UM, when he was doing A-levels with us, he was already on some sort of JPA scholarship. And now while he's in UM, also JPA is covering his studies. One good thing about going to a public university, especially for students who want to study medicine is really, 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 really expensive. And if your parents can't afford to send you overseas, going to Malaysian public university, you can study medicine. It is recognized in Malaysia and it's very heavily subsidized by the government. So you are able to study medicine at a very cheap cost with a certain level of quality and standard. You're able to practice in Malaysia and it is also recognized. So A-levels OSMED students in MCKL, you see them not only going overseas, not only going to the different countries I showed you, they are actually going to Malaysian public universities also. All right. So, and many other also, I cannot list down. There's just too many to list down. Many others all over Malaysia. So Malaysia has a variety of kinds of education that there is an offering to the Malaysian students, to even overseas students here. So we have things like public universities, which I showed you just now a list. We have students going to private universities. So for instance, examples of private universities that our students have gone to are places like Taylor's University, HELP, Sunway, UCSI, and so on and so forth. So they are Malaysian private universities. And then we have somewhat semi-private, semi-government universities that our students also go to. For instance, Utah is one of them that we see students going to. And then you have those branch campuses in Malaysia. So those foreign universities that have set up branch campuses in Malaysia. And we see a significant number of our students actually opting to go there. For instance, universities like Monash, Malaysia, Harrod Ward, Malaysia, Nottingham, Malaysia, Southampton, Malaysia. These are Monash, for instance, an Australian branch in Malaysia. And the other three are actually UK universities in Malaysia. There's a few others also. For instance, there's Curtin, there's Swinburne in Sarawak, there's Reading, Newcastle in Malaysia also. These are all overseas universities, and we have students actually going there. So I told you about public universities, I told you about private, I told you about foreign universities, and we have some students actually going for twinning programs also. So some of the private universities offer twinning programs where they do 1 year in Malaysia, and then they end up 2 years overseas or 3 years overseas or something of that sort. So actually, as a student in Malaysia now, you really have a lot of choices and you have many options to choose from. And the A-levels and the OSMED actually gives you a very good foundation. They prepare you really well. MCKL gives you that kind of experience and foundation. And we've seen our students, the proof is there, that our students have come, they have completed, and they have actually moved on in life or out of Malaysia. And they also have come back, and they also have stayed back in Malaysia to go through different kinds of programs also here in Malaysia. All right. So okay, 2:30. Let's see if I can go through a few more slides, and then if there's any more questions, I see the 1 or 2 questions appearing. But don't worry, there's time to talk about questions also. So from 2012 to 2019, let's see how many students have gone and where. Okay, so in 2012 to 2019, that's I didn't put 2020 data in yet. So in the past from 12 to 19 is about 7 or 8 years, we have 616 students. This is data we have actually collected. So like I said, it's not fully accurate because some data we don't have the full details. But we have 616 students who have gone to the UK. Some have finished and they are working in the UK. Some have finished and working in other parts of the world. Some have finished and come back to Malaysia. Some have finished, got married and got children also. Yeah. So like I mentioned, the names of some of the universities, you saw the list just now. We have students going to all kinds of universities in the UK, from north to south to east to west, to number 1 ranking, number 2 ranking, to all kinds of ranked universities also. So I'll tell you why this, I'll tell you a bit more about the process later that we actually offer to students. To Australia and New Zealand, 274 may not be a very high number compared to the UK, but still I would say it's a significant number because it's like number 2 choice. At one point, it was number 2 choice for our students. And again, I didn't put in names of universities here because, for instance, for Australia, we have a number of students going to, we have all these students going to all sorts of the Australian universities from like Western Australia to universities in New South Wales, state of New South Wales, to Victoria, to Queensland, to South Australia. Monash also, students are actually going all over to all these universities. They are popular. And in New Zealand, we have students also going to some of the big ones, some of the smaller ones. So we have a range of students going all over these universities. And then America, 118 students, smaller number, not so popular, but the ones who have gone, I know a number of them who actually did receive jobs, did stay back there, but some have also come back to Malaysia. Some have gone on to further studies in different universities in other parts of the world. Some are actually working in other parts of the world also. So over 7-8 years, averaging about 20 students are going to the US every year. And then East Asia. So this one a bit hard to put out a number. So I a bit hard to put each country in one map. So I've just put it out together like this. So 110 students going to Hong Kong, significant rise every year. And actually, you'll be surprised. There's 22 students who went to China to study. So you may think like, hey, China, really? But yeah, our students actually apply to China universities. And 16 to Japan, 13 to Taiwan, 7 to Korea. Okay, wait. So just to mention, some of you may, in case you're wondering about these countries, especially, because like, do I need to be able to speak Japanese? Do I need to be able to speak Cantonese? Or do I need to be able to speak Chinese or Mandarin to go to these countries? Most of these programs that the students go to are all English-speaking programs. So even Hong Kong, all the programs are English-speaking programs. So they offer full-fledged, everything is in English, so don't have to worry. I just know that the students who went to China and Taiwan, some of them intentionally chose the Chinese-speaking programs. At Taiwan, most of the programs are in Chinese. So the students who have gone there are doing the Chinese-speaking programs. China has English-speaking programs. They also have Chinese-speaking programs. So it really depends on you and what is your ability and whether you want to study there. And a note for these countries also, you don't have to be Chinese, Malaysian Chinese to go to China. You don't have to be Cantonese-speaking Chinese to go to Hong Kong. So for instance, I give you an example of Hong Kong. We've had Indonesian students going to Hong Kong, Indian students from India going to Hong Kong. We have students from the Middle East going to Hong Kong. We have students from Korea. Korean students, many of them all apply to Hong Kong. We have Japanese students applying to Hong Kong. And of course, we have the Malaysian Chinese, Malaysian Indians also applying and going to Hong Kong to study. So because it's English speaking and it's quite international, so students are able to cope and adapt. And sometimes the seniors are there, so they opt to actually go there to study also. So same goes for the other countries. Japan and Korea also is English speaking, but Japan and Korea are having to study the language. If you know the language, it will help you better. I know one girl chose Japan because she was fluent in Japanese. And so she actually chose Japan because she wanted to study some Japanese culture. So she actually went to do Japanese studies there. So she spoke fluent in Japan. She spoke fluent Japanese. Because Korea also, there's courses are in English, but if you can speak the language, it will help you better to cope and survive in those countries. So this is East Asia. And going back to the map on Europe, so you see students going, so MCKL students, earlier I just showed you Ireland and Germany this year, but we have had a student going to France, we have students going to Hungary, or I should say student lah. France, Hungary, there's one student each. We have a few students going to Russia, typically it's medicine. Czech Republic and Russia are usually medicine. Italy, we had one girl who had went to Italy 2 years ago. The Netherlands is very popular now because they offer a lot of English-speaking courses. They offer scholarships too, and they are very out there. They are promoting themselves as a hub for international education. So we've had students actually going to Netherlands 3 or 4 years ago. I think 5 of them went together in 1 year to different universities in the Netherlands, and some of them even went on scholarship. And we also have students going to Poland. Poland, usually the guy who went that I recall was engineering, but I think there's medicine also that they offer. So some students opt for these countries. And so it is there as an option. And of course, like I showed you just now, I didn't show you a map earlier of Singapore, but Singapore is here. And over the years, we have 94 students who have gone to Singapore. Some years, many apply and they don't get offers. Some years they apply, they get offers and they reconsider their options. So not a high number, but for us, it's still a significant, especially this year, where we had 23 or 24 students and 6 or 7 of them actually received scholarships to study in this country. And then finally, of course, other countries in the world that our students have gone to, which I didn't show you in the map, but they are there in our list: India, Indonesia, Pakistan, Yemen. Yeah, wow. There's a student went to Yemen. You might wonder, like, wow, I get to go to Yemen to study. Yes, it is possible for you to go to study there if you want to. But the student who actually went to Yemen, I don't know whether it's a he or a she, I can't remember now. But the nationality, the person is a Yemeni person. So basically, they went back home to study in their home country. But the qualifications that the person got was actually the A-levels. They actually allowed them to go and study. So basically, if you are international, you are interested, you can actually consider and you can actually try to go and study in these countries also. Thailand, the Philippines also, we've had students studying, and the world, of course. I've limited it to these few, but basically, as I mentioned earlier, MCKL students, I would say, in many parts and many nooks of the world, you're able to see them in many different universities in the world. You're able to see them. So I've managed to visit a couple of universities in different countries, in Hong Kong, in Australia, and UK. There was once, even when I was in Australia in a university, I on the street, I bumped into an MCKL student, like, hey, what are you doing here? What are you doing here? I was like, wow, that was a bit exciting in the sense of going to a foreign land and you see a student, and this student is studying, he was studying in the University of Melbourne at that time. And then some of these universities also I planned intentionally when I went to just meet up with some of them to see how they're doing also. So it's quite interesting. And of course, in Malaysia, some of them actually come back and say hi and they tell us how they have been coping in universities in Malaysia or the world also. Okay, so like I said, Malaysia is the other option besides the world. Malaysia is the other option where you get students, we have students going to different kinds of universities. And in Malaysia also, we have students receiving different kinds of scholarships. So from private institutions, from semi-private institutions from those overseas foreign universities, Malaysia, they have received scholarships also. And so we've had a number of students this year who received who received offers to go to the UK, but they opted to study in Malaysia, and then they even got the scholarship actually to study in Malaysia. So it is possible to do that. So MCKL students, going back to the team, they have gone to many different parts of the world, as I mentioned earlier. So actually, I'm almost done. So just things to consider. One thing just for you to think about is, if you're planning to go to any part of the world or whether study in Malaysia, come and ask us which one would be better for me, or do your research. Is it A-levels or OSMED? What is the difference? Sorry, my spelling there wrong. I realize it's not A-levels of OSMED. It's either A-levels or OSMED for us, because for me, what I'm suggesting to you here is based on what the students have gone to, A-levels or OSMED. But even if it's not A-levels or OSMED, is there any other course or program that will be suitable for you? And MCKL has a range of programs now to offer you some new programs coming up. We also have the American Transfer Program coming up, and we also have the American Degree Transfer Program. And so you can come and visit us and find out more. Check on academic and other requirements for these universities. Some students will tell us, I want to go to X country or Y country, and I want to go to this university. But when you look at the academic qualification or some of the other requirements, you see that they don't meet the requirement. So you need to check on this. Check on the tuition costs. You may want to go, but how much does it cost? Is it affordable? Check on the cost of living. Is it high? Is it low? Should I consider? Check and see whether there's a language requirement. For instance, I gave you an example, Korea and Japan. Do they have any specific language requirement? Check out scholarships. Because some students of ours, they go based purely on scholarship because their family cannot afford to send them there. All right. So these are just some of the things to consider. I'm almost done. So yeah, I'm from the placement unit where there's 3 or 4 of us currently working. I feel like I'm going to sneeze now. Sorry. Yeah. Yeah. So MCKL has a placement unit, and it's purely catered to service the students. So a quick one is we help you choose your right subjects for A-levels or OSMED. We help you in making decisions on trying to choose the best university or course for you. We take you through the UK application process. We take you through other university application processes. We are also a resource center. We have a lot of brochures, flyers. We also resource people. We have links to many different students all over the world. We have links with many different universities all over the world. They have become friends with us because they have seen our students go and they come and also visit us. So we can actually connect you to these people. And some of you who finish MCKL, then you want to come back for help. Also, we provide this kind of support for you, post MCKL advice and counseling. So it's not only limited to current students, but students who have completed their studies in MCKL, they actually can come back and we are here to help you.